I'm Rebecca with 1C, and this is Silent Crash. It has been about 16 weeks since episode 1 of Silent Crash released on October 27th, 2021. Last week, the attorney on one of the no-fault cases and I had a very long, enjoyable conversation. At one point, he said, "I never thought they would let it go on this long. When they saw that people are suffering and dying, I thought they'd act swiftly." Me too. On October 27th, 2021, I thought this show might go on for 10 episodes. It would end with the year, a fix would be achieved, and everyone would go into 2022 celebrating. This is episode 15. On Thursday, my co-producer said to me, "You sound so tired. I don't think I've ever heard you sound so tired." We talked about how neither of us thought this show would need to go on this long. We shared stories of nurses and doctors and patients and family members and lawyers who have all said the same thing to us. She said to me, "You've been going hard on this. Why don't you set this down a little while and take a break?" I chuckled, and I told her that I would, that my husband had just called and asked me to meet him at a brewery nearby after work. We were going to enjoy a drink together while our daughter practiced with her softball team and our son played video games at home. But instead, I spent that time and 2 glasses of wine talking about Silent Crash, the interviews I had done that day, the event that we're collaborating on, and an additional awareness-raising project we're thinking of putting into motion. Oops. On Saturday, my niece moved in with us. A while back, both my sister and her husband passed away after brutal battles with breast cancer and brain cancer. My niece spent her latter teen years watching her parents fight cancer and die. There wasn't a lot of time or attention spent on acquiring adult skills or outlook. So, my 23-year-old niece and my sister's golden doodle, Louie, now live with us. The day she moved in was emotional. I love my niece with a fierce love. She is a precious light in this world, doggedly shining despite the darkness that has swamped her shores. But her mom and dad should have been there to see her off when she pulled out of the driveway to live in a new home and a new state, to embark on adulthood. She should have had all kinds of hugs and reminders to call and little notes tucked in her suitcase telling her how smart and brave and good she is, and how the world is hers for the taking and giving and loving. So the whole day, a confusing whirlwind of loss, sadness, joy, expectation, anger, and elation swirled through me. On Sunday, as I tried to quietly creep through our laundry room and not awaken my niece in her nearby new bedroom, a heavy iron mirror that I had propped against the wall fell on my right foot. As it landed, white-hot fury coursed through me. I was shocked and confused. This was an accident. Why was I momentarily blind with rage? Some of y'all already know why. It took me a while and an ice bag to realize ever since starting this show, the frustration and outrage within me has been simmering. I've repeatedly told myself to set it aside, to focus on gathering facts, researching, interviewing, writing, producing. But that work keeps widening the light on the backstory that led to PA 21 and 22. And with each new awareness of a money or power grab at the expense of accident survivors, my inner turmoil ratchets up a notch. Every phone call, every interview, every stroke of the keyboard. Disgust, hopelessness, righteous indignation, fear, worry at managing the information to the best use for those impacted. It all roiled together, bubbling and growing. And then I heaped on top of that bubbling cauldron the mix of emotions from my niece moving in, all on top of a foundation cracked by exhaustion. That mirror landing on my foot snapped my tenuous hold on outward composure. White hot fury tore through me, giving entirely more weight to an accident than was warranted. Now, why am I telling you all of this instead of segueing into an interview? Well, because I've been thinking this morning about my experience relative to the 18,000 catastrophic car accident survivors whose lives have been upended by Public Acts 21 and 22. I've dwelled on thoughts of their family members and friends, their caregivers, nurses, doctors, therapists, pharmacists, aides, the business owners who had built a cottage industry specifically to serve them well. As I hobbled into my office this morning on a very bruised and hopefully not broken foot, I thought, it's been 16 weeks since episode 1. But for some of you, it has been much longer. No one is experiencing this in a vacuum. Everyone had other experiences that layer into this one, just like I have the experience of my niece moving in after losing my sister and brother-in-law. And for almost every single person impacted by PA 21 and 22, the stakes are so high. This law is threatening your income, your possessions, your home, your relationships, your health, your life, after all that work to build it. I know it is because you are all so patient and kind to stop and tell me what you're experiencing. Your fear, anger, turmoil, and indignation are all understandably, justifiably intense. I thought, if I have come to the emotional and psychological state I'm in already, how much more must some of you be feeling? And so I wanted to take one little episode here to just breathe for a second, to just, for a little bit, remind us that in this moment, we are alive. We are breathing, assisted or not, and we are living in community with each other. If only right here in this space. None of us is going this way alone unless we choose to isolate ourselves. You are not alone. And there are still glorious, magical parts to this life. To realize that, I just have to pull my gaze and focus into my space. As I speak, the shadow of the palm fronds outside my window is dancing on the wall of my office, making the entire place feel a little bit like a disco. What do you see in your room? When I awakened in the 5:15 a.m. dark today, my cheek lay on the soft cotton case of a pillow that cradled my head. What does your head lay on when you rest? As I put makeup on my face, I played music that makes me smile. Some of it reminds me of happy times already had. Other songs on my playlist call me to embrace happy times now and on the way. What songs and sounds remind you that life, even in duress, even while endangered, holds joy? Finding something to enjoy right now does not excuse what has been done. It does not accept what has been done. It is not settling into what has been done. No, joy right now is a shield and a reminder. A shield against anger that would only eat me alive and render me uselessly wailing at accidentally falling mirrors. And a reminder of why PA 21 and 22 spark anger. Because they threaten life. They threaten the enjoyment of the palm frond shadow dancing on the walls, the soft pillowcase kissing my cheek, the bumping notes of a musical memory pouring from my phone. Life is good. It is worthy of protecting, an activity that requires breaks of just reveling in it. So for today, I wanted us to just take a second to recognize and enjoy anew what we can of the life we have right now. I cannot imagine what a giant task that might be for your situation. I know it can seem impossible. But when I sat not so long ago on the cold earth over my 45-year-old sister's grave, crying so hard I could barely breathe, I also had the love and memories we made, enjoying and reveling in life. Memories I will now share and build on with her daughter. Let's not lose today while we battle for another tomorrow. Breathe, friend. May your week be filled with love and life. Happy Valentine's.
Follow and subscribe to Silent Crash, the quiet unraveling of Michigan's auto no-fault and the destruction of lives, wherever you listen to podcasts. For more information on what you've heard here and how you can help, visit silentcrash.net. Silent Crash is a production of the 1C Story Network. The show is written by Rebecca Seitz and produced by her and Rebecca Bond Tucker. Post-production services by Zischer LLC. This show is supported by the generous donations of concerned individuals via the Silent Crash GoFundMe effort. Learn more about the 1C Story Network at just1c.com. That's JUSTONEC.com.
The 1C Story Network, for the love of stories.